Hello, thank you guys so much for coming to this video today. I really appreciate it. This is an awesome podcast. It's the Cardano Or. We brought someone from the ecosystem that is building utility for the Cardano blockchain, and today that is Smart Places, and they're actually in the Genius X Accelerator program. So if you want to see more Genius X projects, they're still doing their ISO today. If you want to come to the biggest and best Cardano event ever hosted, we have Alonzo now. There are people building. We have the best projects in the ecosystem building for a better future in Cardano, and you can meet them. We're actually having the Rare Bloom event on October 14th and 15th of this year. You can purchase tickets and hotel rooms now. You can actually use my discount code PEY10, all capital, and that'll also get you the perks pass. See, these projects that are coming to this event, there's also an NFT that you can get at random from one of these projects with the purchase of the GA ticket. So you're going to get a 10% discount. You're going to get one random NFT, but if you purchase before June 15th, you'll actually get an additional random NFT from your purchase. And these are NFTs from Sunday Swap, from Ben Gortzel, from Claymates, and the list goes on. So make sure you guys get your tickets for that discount before June 15th. Let's jump right into the video today. Hello, thank you guys so much for coming to this video today. I really appreciate it. Today, we're going to have an awesome podcast. This is the Cardano Or podcast. I bring people in the Cardano ecosystem that are adding immense value to Cardano, and today I have Smart Places, and they're actually a Genius X project, and they're a part of their accelerator program, and I'm really excited to learn more about them because you hear a lot of the same projects coming to Cardano, another DEX, and this is a unique idea that I haven't heard before. So can you guys introduce yourselves for me today?
Yeah, for sure. So first, thanks for having us. I'm Hong, the CEO of Smart Places. And yeah, we just started for 4 years now working on the concept and the vision of Smart Places. And it was 2.5 years ago where I got in contact with good friends of mine who are very deep into blockchain space since 2013. And from that, my entrance into the blockchain world was from the academic perspective. So I was less a trader, but getting to grasp all those the mechanics behind those and reading lots of white papers, understanding Byzantine general its problem, proof of work, and so on. And that's the way how I built during the last 2.5 years our concept regarding Smart Places and how it fits into the decentralization aspect and the whole blockchain space.
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. The fact that you guys have really been working on this for 4 years.
Yeah, that would be me as Bjorn. I'm the CEO of the company. I have basically a legal background, so I'm a lawyer specialized in data privacy and compliance. And I worked in this field since years for some law companies and audit companies, and later co-founded a data privacy agency also. And for Smart Places, I take care about, on the one hand, as a CEO of the operational challenges, but also of all the legal and regulation requirements. So that's a lot of things to do, as we all know.
That's very efficient.
Sorry?
I said that's very efficient as a company to have a CEO that is also a lawyer. I must say that's pretty cool.
Yeah, sometimes, on the other hand, sometimes I have to say no, and it's not always, two sides. I came into blockchain actually because of this GDPR and data privacy aspect, because from a legal perspective, the blockchain totally exciting. So having on the one hand smart contracts, so for an old-fashioned and traditional sector like law and legal, that is something totally new, of course. So that is challenging and it's still interesting. And having this transparency and being anonymous on the other hand, so these are aspects that are, especially from a data privacy aspect, challenging. Let's call it that way. And still learning a lot, of course, but I think we are on a very good way with Smart Places in this regards.
Awesome. Eilert?
Yeah. I'm Andre Eilertsen. I'm from originally from Norway. I'm the CMO. I have a background from crypto that is a little longer. I followed Charles Hoskinson from Ethereum to Cardano and have been invested for some years. And was actually advisor on another Cardano project when Smart Places come into the ecosystem. And when I had the first talk with Björn and Hung, and they actually told me about their vision with decentralization, have a social media where actually put the users in focus, where actually the users has an opportunity to earn if they opt into to monetize their data. So they had so many aspects of it that I like. I'm maybe a guy that wants to decentralize everything, and social media is an exciting part of that.
Yeah. So, what project were you an advisor to beforehand?
I was involved in IMX, a few NFT projects. Been working with project now that will come onto the blockchain from a commercial side. You have there are several projects coming up now. My Cashback, that is Advanced Store, that is actually a partner too of Smart Places, that brings the opportunity to have ads that we decide how to customize them and how to show them for users. So
Okay.
it's a kind of an ecosystem within the ecosystem where we have a lot of project speaking and working together.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for the introduction. Let's go really into the meat. What is Smart Places?
Yeah, Smart Places is a social ecosystem that rewards users for connecting and the interaction. You can say on traditional social media platform, the model is quite simple. You get a free service by using the social media. They earn revenue by monetize your data and display ads for you. In a centralized system, it's also impossible for the users to know what data is being shared. It's also, you don't know who receive it and what they actually do with the data. So our vision with Smart Places is actually to change the entire model of how we interact and how users are in the focus. So we empower user by giving them back their ownership for the data. So if you decide you opt in to share your data, then it's monetized in a zero knowledge by utilizing the Cardano blockchain. You get rewarded by the Smart Packet ecosystem if you decide to monetize your data. The same thing goes for ads. If you want to deactivate ads and not show any ads at all, that's possible. If you want to earn revenue on it for displaying ads, you could also activate it. So Smart Places is about bringing the power back to the user.
Okay. So what data is collected, and also, when the data is collected, if the user opts in to share, what are they rewarded with?
They are rewarded from the ecosystem. We have our own token. So when the ecosystem earn revenues on different way, we have a buyback system. We buy tokens back to have a value of the tokens that are distributed in the ecosystem.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, and regarding, sorry, because your question was also what kind of data are collected, right? So that is an aspect, especially in regards of data privacy, so that we take care that the lowest amount of private data are collected that is possible. Basically, it's more or less more statistic or general information that are collected. And the very few of personal data, they are of course not directly monetized or sold or something. So we have a focus on this compliant aspect in this regards.
Okay.
So there is no possibility to actually show who is the users behind the data. So,
and you guys aim for this to be a DAO one day, right? Can you tell me more about that? Why do you think this makes sense as a DAO? Do you think that's important for social media moving forward? And also that data that's collected, is that used to essentially bring more value back to the DAO?
yeah, we have, you can say our vision is, of course, to become a DAO. The issues we have into today world is you have the laws that it makes it impossible to go straight for a DAO, because you have to have some kind of moderation. They need one entity to contact if it's not going to be shut down straight away. So there is different ways of going about with the DAO, but we are constantly searching for way to decentralize more parts. But you don't want everything about social media to be decentralized. You don't want a late night tweet to be available forever. If you have ever deleted something from a social media account, then you don't want that part to be decentralized. But what's actually matter is how the moderation on the system works and how the data is monetized, and that is in a decentralized way. So the users or the parts of social media that is possible to decentralize and is important that is decentralized will be that from the start. I think Björn could go maybe into more of the legal issues around this.
Yes, of course, especially in regards of the content moderation, right? I mean, there are already now huge challenges. So when we speak about free speech, for example, of course, we don't want to hinder this. But on the other hand, we of course have to make sure that the content is according to the law, to the local law also. So that requires, on the one hand, to have on the technical side, some measures in place. We think about using their AI also, but on in the second part, we also have to think about to moderate this content somehow, and that is challenging, of course. I mean, we see this centralized social media platforms, for them also not easy. We are talking already with some partners, and I think we have a good way to make this compliant. For us, of course, we have some advantages. So on the one hand, we come to this, I think, in a second when we talk about the app, but the content we have, it's actually very current. So it's just usually up for 60 minutes. So it's a short period of time on the one hand. And secondly, we have a lot of private groups, so you don't have this kind of public social media effect in all regards, and that helps, of course. But yeah, still it's a challenge. But I think we can solve that.
So have you guys thought about going down the route of, UniSwap V2, where you essentially have a front end application, and because of the local laws and, local regulations, they've actually hidden tokens from the front end. However, the protocol underlying is actually still decentralized, and people can still swap those tokens that aren't shown on the front end. Is that the direction that Smart Places is going to take, where you essentially have a decentralized protocol that, has freedom of speech with no moderation, however, relative to the local jurisdiction and the local laws and regulation, that, you guys from the front end are hiding that or filtering that relative to the jurisdiction, but the protocol underneath is still open and free? Are you guys going to go in that direction, or is that layer one essentially going to be moderated as well?
That's a really good question. We are working now with decentralized cloud services, because social media usually uses AI to go through images that are posting on the platform, to go through different wordings and things you do. So we are talking with several partners on that on the moderation part, and we have meetings next week with two projects in the Cardano ecosystem, because when we started this, there wasn't an Alonso, there wasn't a possibility to actually build on Cardano. So we went with Ocean Protocol, and we have a partnership with them where we have talked about they are focused mostly on data monetization, but they are connected to several project in the Cardano ecosystem that does AI. They are connected with cloud services, so there is a possibility to do something here. But we need to be a little careful about what we say, because we have signed on a few NDAs lately, and we haven't exactly decided on how to do it, and with two.
Yeah, I mean, that truly is the hardest problem that you guys are going to have to solve, in my opinion. That's something that, Twitter and YouTube, after, years, they're still trying to figure it out there. So yeah, I don't see any negative as far as still figuring that one out. How does Smart Places utilize the Cardano blockchain?
I could okay. You can say we are utilizing it now with that we have the tokens on it, and we are going for the protocol in time to actually implement that on the Cardano blockchain. We also have something called Smart Places Pioneers. Those are the first one that, or the first that actually get to or buy the land plots that we have. The entire globe is connected with different or covered by hexagons, and we have these real-world locations. The Smart Places Pioneers buys these land plots or mint them when we had a round, and they actually monetize the data from this real world location. So if you go for a spot where you there are a lot of people interacting, like for example a mall, they will earn revenue from the ecosystem for actually having people using the app on that exact same land plot.
Awesome. So, my question is, I've used a lot of like social media app platforms, and I actually grew up in a small town in America, in Ohio. And, apps like, Pokemon Go, or apps that were like geographically, they just wouldn't work for me because of the small town that I was in. And, when I was reading your guys' white paper, it mentioned that a lot of the posts on social media are actually local, and they're also timed as well. So how do you guys plan on, working with smaller jurisdictions and incentivizing users in those smaller jurisdictions so that the app works in places that, aren't Miami or New York or, other big cities in the world?
Yeah, maybe I say some few sentences to that, because the question is very, very good. But I think what's important is that we call it smart places. So places that potentially people come together and could connect there, right? So even if you have a smaller village, or maybe a place where not millions are living, but maybe hundreds or thousands, even there are usually places where people come together in real life, right? So these places are potential smart places, and that's why we also started with the NFT land plot sale, right? Because there we have these pioneers, so people that have maybe a local knowledge about especially these places. So in a certain village, for example, they know, okay, in this mall, to a certain daytime, maybe there come people together, and that helps a lot. So it's not like you're sitting at home and use the app and wondering why no one else is around. It's always about what is the place where people would like to spend time with each other, because there is a potential for interacting with each other higher. But this is just the geolocation aspect. What we also have in place is the layer one, and this is social media like we know today, right? So this is not geolocation based. That means you also can reach out to people who are not directly around you. So we have these both levels.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate the answer for that. Are there any existing products out there like Smart Places that are centralized?
Definitely. There's in Europe, for example, this app called Yodel, for example, which has this geolocation-based aspect. But as you mentioned, this is fully centralized as far as I know. And from my understanding, also has not the approach what we have to empower users to build this ecosystem and finally participate in the gains, and giving them a say how this ecosystem evolves and develops. So, but I think the closest competitor or the closest centralized application would be Yodel. And of course, when you think about Snapchat, you also see the friends who are directly around you. But the thing with Snapchat, for example, you see only your friends who you have listed in your contacts. And also, it's totally centralized, I think.
Yeah, and recently they also added like a map feature, and where you can kind of scroll around the world. And honestly, that kind of reminds me of this, but again, that is centralized. So I want to get in really to the value proposition. We're talking about users having the ability to be pioneers and purchase these, hexagon land plots in certain jurisdictions. And because of that, the data that is collected in there, they can actually earn a profit from that, from them actually owning those land spots. Is a certain percentage of that profit, actually going back into the DAO itself to fund, future development of the DAO to, push the DAO forward? How is the DAO, making money here other than, the market cap and, the tokens?
Yeah, when we talk about reflection, for example, we have, on the one hand side, we plan to have this buyback system, where we say exactly how you mentioned that a fraction of the revenues will be distributed to certain pools, we call it like this. And we are at this very basic stadium right now. But for example, what we have set up, or our first drafts say that, for example, a certain amount goes into marketing, a certain amount goes into development. And we also consider to have a share of this into a charity pool, for example. Because we say the use cases, what is possible with our app. If, for example, subsidizing places where people come together in order to do good. For example, to gather around to clean a park or to clean a beach, for example. Or we are also in talks with airports where we say, hey, come on, how would it be if your users have a possibility to connect to each other to share a taxi, because all the people or the majority takes the same route to the center. So those activities can also be subsidized by us out of these pools. And this is the basic structure we have now in mind, but it is still in progress and development.
Okay, thank you. What does it look like when a user connects to earn?
Yeah, we say that when we start with the geolocation case, the thing is, you can imagine that in order to be able to connect with other people, they also have to post something. Yeah, and if nobody posts something, there's no network and no utility in this. So by contributing, and because everything builds up on this network effect also, means that when you contribute by posting and updating your status, you give other people also the opportunity to connect with you. So this is the very basic step. This connect to earn thing is also where we say that you might want to make smart posts, in order to connect with others. So you have to put some effort in what you are posting, how attractive, how appealing your message is. For example, when I'm, let's take this tutoring case, this university. When the lesson is over and I say, hey, I'm a tutoring, I'm a specialist on this field who wants, I can explain this stuff, for example. So offering something to others in order to get connected with other people. So this is what we say, that the smarter you post is, the better or the higher your rewards on this. This is the principle of connect to earn from the user's perspective. And also for the smart places pioneers who owns those smart places, who will benefit from all those activities, they also have an interest that people connect on their land plots. And this is how we also interpret this connect to earn, that you as a land plot owner might want to connect others or let others connect in order to earn. Yeah.
That's very interesting. What can users actually post and share? Earlier you mentioned, pictures, and you also mentioned text. Is it going to be like a Twitter type of format where, users are limited to, a certain amount of characters? Or is it going to be more like Medium where you can, include videos and you can really write long articles?
It's something in between. We want to limit this to a certain amount. Yeah, it's not that less like in Twitter, because it's very few letters you can write. It's something in between. And also what we want to add is that you can also attach to your post some of your some credentials. For example, when I post something, I can also add my LinkedIn account to my post in order to have some, it's like adding some credentials in order to higher the probability that this is more trustful, and in order to get people connecting with me. So the more information I share, the higher the probability that another people is reacting to my post.
Awesome. I read during your light paper that you guys have, games and activities on Smart Places. Do you guys have any of those, built out now, or what are you looking to have in the future as far as games and activities along with the incentives?
I want to start, but then I want to Andrew to follow up on this. My view is that with our app, it's like when we think about augmented reality, and you are going around with people around you, that you have now with us a technical solution where you can see the thoughts of the other people. And it's like in comics, where you see the bubbles above the head. And if you know what they are thinking, and maybe it matches perfectly to your interest, you can directly connect to them. So this would be the AR part of this, but maybe Andrew can go into detail on this.
Yeah, I think you were actually kind of spot on that. If there is anything you want me to elaborate.
Maybe regarding our partners, because our approach is also in line with Ocean Protocol that we are working with, and we have a very high standards regarding our partners also. So maybe a glance regarding that.
Yeah, we are talking with different projects, but we aren't at this point able to see who it is or say who it is. But what we are doing is with the augmented reality or the cam view that we have talked about, it's to bring some kind to bridge Web3 metaverses into the real world, where you actually we are speaking with one project that likes to how can I say, to dig down the rabbit hole. It's on Cardano, so it's easy to maybe to find out. But what we are talking about there is to actually bring things from the metaverse, and we have they have a system where they create identity or character identities that is possible to travel between metaverses and blockchain, and that makes it possible for us to actually connect metaverse credential or your character credential to our original did on the blockchain. So we have several things there that we will speak more about in a few weeks, but for now it's I'm not sure that we could speak so much about it. But we have a lot more coming up in the next weeks.
Awesome. That's really exciting. So, you guys, you've mentioned that you're working with, Ocean Protocol, but you're also using Cardano for, the NFTs and the tokens. Why Cardano?
For us, it was, or for me personally, it was something what when I was deciding to leave my permanent job and to dedicate my life for this project, I wanted to build something really sustainable and to create, I think, also something with real value. So from my perspective, this goes perfectly in line also with the philosophy of Cardano. But also, as I said, my entrance into blockchain world was a very analytical way. So always questioning myself, how does our project really fits into blockchain and token and all those thoughts from the academic perspective, which is also the approach from Cardano, totally fits to our ideology. So with respect to this, I fully think that it is a perfect match from my perspective.
Awesome. Well, that's really all the questions I had for you today. Is there anything that we didn't cover in this podcast today that you think would be good information to get out to the audience?
Maybe the other way around. If you could choose a smart place, any ideas in mind?
Like as far as a geographic location?
Yeah.
I don't want to dox myself, but I actually got on there and I picked out the square. There's actually a downtown area where I live, and there's a kava bar where my office is, and it's really my favorite place on this earth. So that's the location I would pick here in Florida.
Nice. That's for us totally interesting to hear these opinions, especially in our community as well. So on our Discord, there's since so long time so much discussions exactly about that, because some people, they of course have more, or maybe more the commercial aspect, like I am buying a mall because there are so many people, and then others are more like, okay, I want to have a place where I have a personal relationship to, and and so it's interesting to hear this.
Yeah, I was
so-
thinking about that while we were talking earlier. I was like, if I want to make money from the data and the interaction, I'm going to go pick Miami, go pick South Beach, or, pick, downtown, or, Brickell or Wynwood. Whereas, I would rather just have, I would rather own the place that I'm at, because it would be so cool to actually own a few buildings here and actually own land. And, maybe I could do that in the digital world, because I haven't pulled it off in the real world yet,
Yeah, great. Like that.
Yeah. Well, for everyone tuning in, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. You made it till the end, so I know you liked it. Make sure you click that like button for the algorithm. Comment down below what you thought. If you did make it to the end, please comment. We'll say tree down below, and that'll let us all know that you made it till the end, and we do really appreciate that. So thank you guys all for coming on, and thank you guys for watching. I hope everybody has a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.